Momentum is back on Hims and Hers side, and this time it's the FDA kind of reconsidering what it's going to do with GLP-1s that are compounded. Tirzepatide is the one that has been in the most question over the past few weeks. That's what caused the drop in Hims and Hers stock a few weeks ago. It's what has caused the 39% increase in Hims and Hers stock over just the past month. So I want to dig into exactly what's going on with this, how to think about it, because sometimes I think about Hims and Hers a little bit differently than I think a lot of those in the market do. So many investors are focused on what's going on with GLP-1s. But the reality is GLP-1s are a very, very small percentage of Hims and Hers business. And I think the way that you need to think about this company overall is building a platform and the products and services that people need to answer the healthcare questions. This is more of a disruptive company. So are they doing things better than CVS and Walgreens and going and visiting your local doctor? Is it easier to just go on Hims and Hers and get the treatments you need? If the answer to that is yes, then the company is going to win in the market. And I think we're going to see continued growth. But I want to go through these details of the GLP-1 news because this is what's going to be on investors' minds, at least when earnings come out a few weeks from now. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And thanks to this video sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they'll give you your top 10 stocks to buy right now. Let's get to the latest news from the FDA. This is from NBC News, and you can see what they're saying here is that compounding pharmacies can resume making tirzepatide as the FDA reconsidered its shortage. This is related to a lawsuit that one of the compounding pharmacies brought against the FDA in relation to allowing Eli Lilly to basically say that this product is off shortage. The way that this works is that compounded drugs are able to be made in shortage situations because the FDA wants to have products in the market. So most of these GLP-1s products are in shortage, in particular tirzepatide and semaglutide. So pharmacies and doctors can prescribe these in lieu of paying the name brand prices for those GLP-1s, like Zepbound was the one that was really in question here. So this came as part of this lawsuit, and on Friday, the FDA said it was going to reconsider taking tirzepatide off shortage. This was the release that brought that about on October 2nd, said that tirzepatide, the shortage had been resolved. That starts a clock where compounding pharmacies are not able to sell that drug anymore. The interesting thing for Hims and Hers was they were not actually impacted. What they make right now is semaglutide. They said they were going to get into tirzepatide, but they had not done that yet. So that's a distinction that I think we need to think about. But what this does is it confirms what Hims and Hers management has said all along, is that basically they're going to be able to find a solution, whether that's selling the name brand GLP-1 drugs or whether it's finding a way around to making compounded drugs for a longer period of time in the future, or compounding drugs with other solutions, which is something that they've done with their customization products. Basically, where there's a will, there's a way. And what Hims and Hers has indicated to investors is that they have the will to get into this weight loss market and they were going to find solutions. So every day that this shortage continues and every day that Hims and Hers can build out its weight loss business, the company is going to continue to drive their revenue growth. And that is ultimately what investors are buying.
Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now.
Sometimes we need to put some of these news items into context, and I think that's the case with Hims and Hers. This is a look at the company's revenue, gross profit, and net income. So Hims and Hers has been growing since the third quarter of 2021 at a compound annual growth rate of 75%. That is just a phenomenal growth rate. And very, very little of that is due to the weight loss business, which just started late in 2023. Management said that the entire weight loss business, not GLP-1s, but the entire weight loss business was on a $25 million per quarter run rate at the end of the second quarter. $100 million per year, $25 million per quarter. So for a company doing $1 billion in revenue, that is significantly less than 10% of their revenue. And it was not driving all of their growth. So this is still a growth company, even without GLP-1s. But what we've got an indication of is the GLP-1 growth that Hims and Hers has gotten over the past few months and likely in the third quarter is not going to slow down anytime soon. So that's generally good news short term. But just look at those trends long term. I think that's really what you need to keep in mind. Is this is a platform business that continues to grow the number of users and the amount of money that each of those users is spending on the platform. And that indicates that they're getting value. The profit side of it, I think, is also worth considering. Gross profit up 80% on a compound annual basis over the past 3 years. So this is still a very, very high margin business. What Hims and Hers has really answered to me over the past few quarters is, was this company on a customer acquisition treadmill where they were just serving out ads, getting customers, but then those customers would churn out relatively regularly? I think that's not the case today. And that's because Hims and Hers is now profitable over the past 12 months, $18.1 million in net income. So you're growing that quickly and you're doing it profitably. That's a great combination for any company. And I think that's exactly what investors should be looking for. So most of this GLP-1 news and tirzepatide and semaglutide, it's all noise for the company long term. What you're going to want to look at is, are customers continuing to go to Hims and Hers because they find it to be a better solution than going to a doctor and a traditional pharmacy? That's really the long-term story here. And if you're a long-term asymmetric investor like I am, where you're thinking about what is Hims and Hers going to look like 5, 10, 15 years from now, that's the trends that you want to see, is that people are adopting these products and they're getting value from the platform. So what should we expect in the next quarter as earnings come out in a few weeks? This is a look at analyst estimates over the next couple of years, and I'll just give you some detailed numbers here. In the third quarter of 2024, the consensus estimate is for $381.5 million in revenue. That is up from $221.1 million in revenue. That is a 73% growth rate, just a phenomenal growth rate. In December, revenue is expected to be about $420 million. But what's interesting is that in 2025, analysts are expecting revenue growth to slow. So again, this is where I think the opportunity lies. It's difficult to figure out what Hims and Hers revenue is going to be 2, 3, 4 years from now. But if we have growth anywhere near the kind of growth that we've seen over the past 3 years, even if it's 20 or 30% growth instead of 50 or 60% growth, this can be a very, very undervalued stock. Before I get to valuation, I just want to throw up the earnings per share estimates for 2024. For the full year, analysts are expecting 21 cents in earnings, and then that to jump to 41 cents in earnings for 2025. So again, this is a high growth company. Enterprise value to sales multiple is just 4.4, and the price to earnings multiple is coming down. If they hit that 40-cent number, I don't think it's yet worth looking at Hims and Hers on a price to earnings multiple, because this is still a company that's just barely into profitability on a net income basis. But if that growth continues, and if the company can continue to benefit from compounding GLP-1, from growing in its existing categories like ED, hair loss, weight loss, and then expand into more and more categories, that's the platform that I want to see grow. That's the progress that I want to see from Hims and Hers. I'm not worried about the details of what one treatment coming off shortage or on shortage. That's what's going to drive the stock short term. But long term, keep an eye on those key metrics like the number of users, the amount of money that they're spending, and how long they're coming back to build that long-term relationship with Hims and Hers. So hopefully that's helpful in laying out exactly why I'm bullish on this company. But let me know your thoughts on Hims and Hers in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.